So at times we'd drink and he'd get like panic attacks, and then he'd start speaking about how his family has issues and all that. So I'll be there to listen and to have that shoulder to lean on and all that. But at some point I shared it with my best friend, and she said, you never used to drink before as much as you're drinking now. And he's starting to use you as a shield when he's very emotional, and I don't like it. So I think he had her say that. So he told me, if you and me are going to be something, you have to cut off your friends. I don't like them. So I slowly start not talking to my best friend. And I'm skipping classes and all that. So I get this retake on an economic class, because he's also in economics. So we have to share. So he says, I'm going to go back a unit behind so that we're in the same class. So I thought this was romantic at first. Little did I know. So he comes into class an hour earlier, and he checks where all the boys are seated. So when we go into class and I tend to talk to someone who's male, he literally just looks at me and he storms out of the class, even when the lecturer was in.
What do you mean he would try and check where the guys are sitting, so that you don't sit next to them, or so that he sits next to you? Or what do you mean? Were the desks assigned?
No. You see how you sit and there are spaces in between and you're late for class. So it's common sense for you to either sit on the open seat that you find so that you don't disrupt the class. So if an open seat that I find is next to a boy, he's going to mark it. So the whole class, he'll just be texting me and asking me, you came 10 minutes late, so that you sit with him. And I know if you didn't sit there, you'd have sat next to that one, because there's also an open seat there. Or if you didn't sit there, you'd have sat next to this other one. So he just mentioned boys. He'd be like, I know you'd not want to sit with girls and all that. So I never took it to heart. I just used to say, I'm sorry, next time I'll sit with you. So we do our exams, and now we're hanging out more. His friends are coming for games or going for rugby. So there's this day he tells me, I want to take you somewhere I've never taken anyone. So they have this farmhouse in Ngong. We go and spend there 3 days, just two of us. And that's when I realized I loved him, because it was very special, very. So he said all the nice things during that 3 day stay. So later on, I meet a friend of his, now when we're leaving the farmhouse, and the friend mentions a girl, and he says it's her memorial this week. And Gray's face changes, and his mood becomes very, very irritating the whole week. So I asked him, could it be because of that girl? We're on a staircase, on a ramp, close to a mall, next to a mall building. He pushes me, and I ask him, okay, did I say something wrong? And he says, no, but don't talk about that girl. So the next time we meet that friend, I ask him, is there a relationship between Gray and that girl? He says, yes, that was his ex. And she died when they were going out because of speeding, because they were speeding. So I remember we had a fight, because when we were in campus, we'd hire a car and his friends would drive. And every time he'd tell me not to drive with them, because I'd complain about how they're driving. So I think when I asked, he got angry, because I would have brought up that topic of, you see, reckless driving does not. So
when she passed away, were they together?
Yes. Even that night, he was driving.
Oh, so you were going for the 1 year memorial?
Yes, they were going for the 1 year memorial. But you see, when we started dating, he didn't mention he had an ex. He told me he's never dated anyone.
Oh, wow.
So apparently even his family know this girl. So now I'm thinking, if we were hiding things from each other, then this is serious. So I decide that whole week you go for your memorial, have your time. I won't ask because I don't want to ask what I've not been told about. So we start basically in the whole falling in love time. It was falling in love in private more because in public, he'd sit next to other girls, he'd flirt with other girls, he'd kiss other girls. Yes. Because I remember there's this one time we go to the farmhouse and his family is there. So he has a sister-in-law, someone married to his brother. She comes with her sister. So at night, I'm expecting if me and you are dating and the night is over and people are going to sleep, we're supposed to go sleep. So this other girl is awake. And the whole day she's been on my case, telling me, oh, you're so big. Oh, how did you guys meet?
You're so big. What do you mean?
Like literally big.
Oh, wait. You're not big. Okay.
That time.
All
so
right.
I think that time when I'm in school, I usually add weight because of the stress and all that. So I decide, let me not get into this because we're going to argue and it is family. It may look bad. So I tell him I don't appreciate how she's throwing backlash at me. And he tells me just leave her. So at night, I tell him I've gone to sleep. So in the, I think I'd slept for like 2 hours. I wake up to go get water. And I find him and her making out in the sitting room. So I drop my glass and I ask him, what are you guys doing? And she tells me, I don't know how this is new to you. This is something we've been doing. And I look at him, waiting for him to say something. And he just goes like, okay, you need to stop sneaking up on people. So I go to sleep. He does not come to sleep the whole night. So in the morning, I ask him, where did you sleep? He's like, there's so many rooms in this house. And this is my family house. What do you mean, where did I sleep? So the next day, I hear his sister's friends making fun and saying him and the girl slept together. So I start crying and I'm in the balcony smoking. And he comes and asks me what exactly is hurtful about that. I don't get it. And I'm like, you're sleeping with your sister's sister, your sister's in-law sister. You're just sleeping with your family. And he's like, okay, but are we married? And I think I just called my best friend and I left. I didn't even answer.
Were you and him intimate at the time?
Yes. So I think what hurt me most is that he used to justify these situations to make it look like I'm complaining, like I'm hallucinating.
Gaslighting.
Yes. Like he'd tell his friends and I'd look like the bad one. And I'm always like, but you guys were not there. I'm the one telling you. And they're like, no, but he said that did not happen. So it didn't. So I think 3 years into dating, he's doing all the good things. He's remembering birthdays, anniversaries. So he's trying to be.
Hang on. You said 3 years into dating.
Yes.
So after the incident at the farmhouse where he slept with his sister's-in-law sister, okay, there's no blood relation there, but okay, so they did their thing and you're crying at the balcony and he says, what's the big deal? You're not my wife. Like, what,
Yeah.
You let it go and you continue dating?
Yeah.
Rainbow, how did you justify the fact that he's sleeping with other people while he's dating you? I guess because you're young at the time, but like, how did you get past that in your mind? Like, what story did you tell yourself?
I think it boils back to the first time we got intimate. I don't know if it was because of anxiety or I was scared so it didn't go as he thought. So he started telling me, I think there's something wrong with your body and that's why we can't get fully intimate and I can't force you. So since I've said I'm going to love you until I can't, then I think for now we're going to have to do the love thing. Then the intimacy is when we can. So it looks like I'm the one to beg for us to do it. So unless now he has so much time on his hands and he doesn't want me to spend time with anyone else. That's the time now. We'll just go and stay somewhere where everything we're thinking about is just being intimate. So that's the only thing we were doing. Like, we'd stay in bed the whole day. I didn't notice that was a red flag at first, but after I started thinking, I think that's where our issue started, because I started letting in so much negativity and letting it slide, and he made it look like it's a positive thing.